a shadow looms over Yagami and Kuwana. Japan's National Intelligence Agency, Public Security, fixes its gaze on Reiko Kusumoto of the Ministry of Health. 5 years ago, Kuwana prompted her to take revenge on Shinya Kawai for pushing her son to the brink. Secrets can only lie dormant so long, and upon their waking, chaos ensues.
You've done it again, Tsukumo. Can't believe you found it.
I figured Mitsuru Kusumoto would be in one of the better hospitals around the health ministry. That narrowed it down to just a few locations. Then I pinpointed the exact one through sheer determination.
And that led you to Touto University Hospital. So Mitsuru is still...
Yep. Reiko Kusumoto has been visiting her son every night for the past 13 years, even after she became vice minister. If you gentlemen want to meet her in person, that would be your best chance.
But Yagami, you seriously think you can convince Reiko Kusumoto to turn herself in?
Well, gonna try at least.
She's at the top of the food chain. If it comes out that she committed murder, the whole country's gonna lose it.
If they hadn't tried to hide it, nobody else would have needed to pay for it. Like Sawa-sensei.
Yeah. You're right.
And if she confesses to killing Kawai, public security will run out of reasons to keep defending RK. So in theory, that should free up the police to pursue Soma about Sawa-sensei.
Totally agree with you there.
But Kuwana-san's against that, right? Didn't he say he wouldn't let her turn herself in?
Yeah. That's why he's not in the loop on this.
So, you're just gonna show up? You do know she's probably surrounded by public security at all times, don't you?
Just means we gotta be prepared for that. Like the professional detectives we are.
Prepared? How?
Just leave it to us. Yagami-san, I gotta go get ready.
Got it.
See ya.
So what do you need from me in this,
You got any old acquaintances in RK? Think you can find out where Soma and Akutsu are?
You forget who you're talking to? Why wouldn't I be able to cover that? I knew a few ex-Tojo guys who go in and out of RK on the regular.
Thanks. But watch your back. If they find out you're spying on them, they won't like it.
I'll be ready, like the professional ex-Yakuza I am. See ya.
He's rough around the edges, but in the end, he comes through.
Yeah. Turns out he's got extra time on his hands.
Why don't you hire him at your office, Yagami-shi?
I'll talk about that with Kaito-san once he recovers. Anyway, sorry Tsukumo, but we have to take Sukiura from you again.
Why start apologizing now? It's all good. We'll talk again soon.
Really, guys?
What are you? Don't worry. I'll give it back to you after this. I'm sure it's bugged, and we wouldn't want anyone listening in now, would we?
We'll take a few laps around the block and then drop you back off at the hospital. Sorry, but we just need a bit of your time.
Very well. Who are you people?
We're just local detectives, but Kitakata-sensei is an acquaintance of ours. We know about Mitsuru-kun, and we know that 5 years ago, a man named Shinya Kawai mysteriously disappeared and died.
I have no idea what you're saying.
But you do. I know how this must come across right now, so I assure you, we aren't the ones posing a threat.
Fine. What is it you want, then?
All I want is the truth, in your own words, about Shinya Kawai, and how you carried out his murder.
You're mistaken. I didn't do it.
The other day you received a call from Kitakata-sensei, didn't you? He goes by the name Kuwana now, and works as a handyman in Ijincho. He made that call because we needed to confirm something.
Confirm what?
Whether or not you were being watched by public security.
Public security, you say?
As it turns out, you are. Your cell phone is bugged. It can even use GPS to trace who's on the other end of the line. That kind of trace is only possible with cooperation from the cellular providers. Unless you're public security, you could pull something like that off in secret. They want to hit you where you're vulnerable. And that's what you are now after Kuwana. Do you understand, Kusumoto-san? You must really be something special. You were never in this job for yourself. It fell into your lap as your predecessors fell like dominoes. That's why you don't owe anyone anything. You're free of constraints. And Mitsuru-kun's tragedy even gained you public sympathy on top of it. Combine all that with a capable bureaucrat like you, there's no telling what you could accomplish. You're cleaning up house, tackling the revolving door problems. Things you know are the right moves, but with no regard for the consequences. I understand even the cabinet gauges your opinion, since you have so much public support. But I think that's also made you some enemies. Most likely whoever's holding public security's leash.
I have more than a few enemies. I'm well aware of that. And I have no doubt public security would comply with them. To be quite frank, public security only exists to maintain the status quo. The establishment is made up of various powers which control politics and finance. But naturally, each branch has its own agendas, goals, ideas of justice, which leads to all sorts of issues and hindrances, which you call constraints. The more individuals who make up society, the more unavoidable that is.
Are you implying it's public security's job to loosen those constraints?
There's more to it than that. The world we live in requires all kinds of value systems to coexist, even in chaos. But if you loosen the constraints too far, the fall of the state is inevitable. In that regard, public security's role is to stabilize and maintain the state, even while bound by constraints. In other words, the constraints of these powers are precisely what are protected by public security. So the fact that I am not caught up in all that does, indeed, make me something of a pesky foreign object.
A pesky foreign object. I see. So to these establishment people, you're something to be excised.
I guess there's bullying among adults in high places too.
Yeah. Now we know why they were looking for any kind of weakness in you. And that's when they turned the spotlight on Shinya Kawai's disappearance. An event that was triggered by Akihiro Ihara's case. You know the one, I presume.
Yes.
An active duty policeman exacted revenge on the bully who drove his son to suicide. Your enemies must have heard that and thought to themselves, what would Reiko Kusamoto have done to her son's bully? I'm guessing that's what prompted public security to make their move. As the details of Ihara's case came to light, a group of thugs calling themselves RK started looking for Shinya Kawai, all to find out that he was kidnapped 5 years ago, probably killed.
I never did anything out of revenge.
Even after finding out Kawai disappeared, public security still had to verify it. But if they found out you were involved, that'd be a win for them. They'd finally know Reiko Kusamoto's weakness.
How long are you going to keep talking?
As public security figured out, the bullying cases involving Toshiro Ihara and your son share a common link. That link being Sawa-sensei. She was Mitsuru-kun's classmate and Toshiro Ihara's teacher. Not only that, she was also linked to Ihara's murder victim, Mikoshiba. She was his master teacher. So, not long after the murder, RK came to Ijincho and broke into her home. That must have been when they got Kuwana's name out of her. I think Sawa-sensei suspected that Kuwana was involved in Mikoshiba's murder. Then Soma steps in, with his professional interrogation skills, to beat and scare her into spilling everything. Kusamoto-san, you knew she was killed, right? Kuwana should have told you over the phone.
Wait, are you not one of his colleagues? He said he wouldn't cause me any trouble, and that he would never call me again.
Kuwana and I are competitors on a temporary ceasefire. We're not colleagues. How's your son doing now?
He could wake up any minute now. Of course, that's been true for the last 13 years.
I see.
We transferred him to Touto University Hospital just this year, hoping they could spur his recovery. But it turns out they don't do anything much different from the previous hospital. All I can do is wait.
Has anybody from public security contacted you?
I have my suspicions.
What are their names? I imagine what they wanted was to exploit your weakness to control you. Because if all they wanted was to eliminate you,
Yes,
do you have any idea what these people are after?
what they want is control of the pension fund.
Pension fund?
An independent agency within the ministry manages the national pension fund.
What?
And certain groups want to take bigger risks with that money in order to generate more profit. In other words, they believe that's the only way to rebuild Japan's faltering economy and secure the future of this country.
I mean, would it work?
Of course. But if we lost the gamble, that's why the health ministry manages those funds.
Okay.
You do?
To be able to gamble all this taxpayer money to save the economy? And here's Kusamoto-san, head of the office. Her position has the power to take action. But not only does Kusamoto-san have the power, if a new vice minister were to try it, They'd be stopped cold by the constraints.
So that's why they wanted to find her weakness and...
Exactly.
Okay. Wow. 160 trillion.
I'm guessing they've already contacted you about it?
That's an assumption.
I have to ask you, I understand what you're
If you've spoken,
I do.
aside from they put on, I don't think they really want. I bow. It was only that's when I knew.
And your solution?
If you already know,
I get it now.
then please.
Anything you want?
I do. He needs to run. Far away. If public security has their sights on him, his capture is not a question of if, but when. He's in danger if he remains in the country. And once public security has him, they will extract everything he knows.
You mean he'd be tortured?
Yes. Somewhere well beyond the public eye. No one can withstand what they do. He'd tell them everything. And as for me,
They would expose your vulnerability, making you their pawn.
most likely, they'd gamble away the taxpayers' money, and I'd never purge the corruption in the health ministry.
I get that. What does it matter?
What?
Because in my opinion, you need to turn yourself in, Kusumoto-san.
You want me to admit to manslaughter? You think I killed a real man? I say he was less than one. Shinya Kawai. He was little more than a subhuman brute. And you saw it. You saw what that brute did to my son. I hated Kitakata-sensei. He was an incompetent teacher. An idiot who turned a blind eye to Mitsuru being tortured. But that changed when he suddenly showed up 8 years later. And then he showed me that video. He said, every bully in that video, they deserved to be punished. That it was the only way to get closure.
You took him up on it? But you of all people should have known better.
True. You're right about that. I struggled with it quite a bit. It's an unconscionable act, no matter how deep your animosity runs. But Kitakata-sensei's words hung on. I couldn't get them out of my head. I saw for myself. I went to Kamurocho, where I'd heard Kawai was working, at a girls' bar. So you know, after Mitsuru jumped that day, Kawai came to me in tears to apologize. I hadn't seen him in all that time. If he'd frozen in place when he saw me, if he'd been the slightest bit apologetic, I might have been able to stay my hand.
I take it he didn't do any of that.
Right. He didn't even recognize my face. And that's hardly the worst part of it, actually. When he saw me, he took me for some bawdy cougar on the prowl for young men. If you've got the cash, I'll show you a good time, he said. All those tears he'd shed years earlier were a farce. But I knew that. Deep down, I'd already known that. That was it. That was the moment I lost all doubt about killing him. And as for those other kids who bullied Mitsuru, they should thank me they didn't share his fate. But that's why. That's why I don't feel like I have any sins to atone for. Every night I pray he will wake up. What more can you ask me to endure?
Kuwana said something similar. But you think you can repeat all that? This time say it to her.
Isn't that Sawa-san?
You and Kuwana can congratulate yourselves. You got vengeance on a monster. But what you're choosing not to see is that your actions had consequences for her. It's vicious. I've seen this before. Justice for one at the cost of another. Someone innocent always pays the price. I won't just sit here and watch as history tries to repeat itself. His phone isn't being traced by anyone. So, if you have a change of heart, just give me a call before you turn yourself in. That's all I had to say. We're back.
Right here okay, Yagami-san?
Yeah. I'm gonna go talk to Kuwana. Need to tell him I met with Reiko Kusamoto.
He's gonna be pissed, you know? He's gonna try to rip you a new one.
That's true. So you might want to sit this one out.
You sure? 'Cause I'll totally take you up on that.
Well, look who we have here. Haven't seen your mug in a while.
It's only been 2 or 3 days. Where's Kuwana?
How should I put
You know, this kind of
Couldn't we have done this by phone?
I just came from seeing Reiko Kusamoto.
You what?
What did she have to say about that?
That she had no sins to atone for.
Of course not.
This isn't yours to finish. How do you think her folks feel? Do they have to suffer like that? Would Sawa-sensei want that?
Say whatever you want, but if you cause...
That's exactly why I didn't tell you I was going to meet her.
Listen, Yagami, and she's not sure how to feel about killing Kawai. Unlike me.
If she was anything like you, I would...
There's no evidence that she killed Kawai. Besides, there's no case without a corpse. Even if she did turn herself in...
Don't think for a second that you're getting a pass here. You've killed, what, 7 people now? Do you...
You got proof?
My colleagues in Kamurocho are getting ready to appeal Ahara's case.
I wouldn't even call that bad news. And by then, I'll probably be going by a different...
You're just gonna keep doing this?
Is that the only thing keeping you around? Truth be told, I don't think...
What?
Sawa-kun
What is this?
After Ahara-san...
Toshiro-kun came right, and a few minutes later, I'll never forget the fear I saw in Toshiro-kun's face. He told me about everything. The teasing, the beatings, the theft. How nobody was on his side. And yet, I had to deny all this in front of an entire courtroom. They said there was no hope, that I was the only witness with no proof whatsoever. Believe me, I never wanted to do that.
Sawa-kun's testimony in court was...
And your first thought was to record it?
Yes. And then I played it for Ahara-san.
All you did was light the fires of vengeance in Ahara's heart.
You know, I've heard... think about it. Somebody's always gotta get his...
And that somebody's gonna be you?
If it means I can prevent another Mitsuru Kusamoto, yes, I will keep killing. These bastards who prey on the defense... I wish the law would do its job.
I understand what you're saying, but you're taking it too far. Just stop, Kuwana.
If you really want to stop me...
I thought you guys were gonna start another fight.
Next time I go up against...
Well, when that time comes, take it anywhere but here.
いらっしゃいませ。ありがとうございます。よっと。いらっしゃいませ。ありがとうございました。
Hello?
It's Shirosaki. Are you in Yokohama again, Yagami-san?
Yeah. Is this about Ahara's trial?
Yes. Regarding the appeal. The prosecution says they want to consult with us. Off the record.
Off the record? What do you mean?
They want to discuss with the judge beforehand whether or not Ahara's murder footage is admissible evidence. The video has gone viral, of course, and nobody's really sure how to...
Is the prosecutor...
That's quite possible, which is why we're meeting today in the courthouse conference.
Of course. I'll be there.
Thank you very much.
So what you're saying is, we've already closed the book on that ordeal, yet now the defense wants to write a sequel?
To establish the defendant's motive in the harassment, we need to bring the Mikoshiba murder to light. The groping itself was staged. It was all part of their script, right down to the guilty verdict.
It sounds like the defendant has some strong hostility for the court.
Ahara got the court to accept his murder alibi by twisting the legal process to his own ends. It was easy to miss, because at the time, Mikoshiba's body hadn't been found yet. But we have to admit that we all got duped.
We? You're not even a lawyer. You're a detective.
Yagami-sensei still has a license to practice.
Forget what I said if it offended you, prosecutor.
My superiors always told me that in his youth, your Genda-sensei was a difficult man. He'd insist his clients were innocent, persisting even in the face of conviction. He was hostile to the prosecution, and was known to fraternize with Kamurocho Yakuza. But it was his sheer disrespect that made my boss hate him.
Damn. You sure know an awful lot about Genda-sensei.
Because I honestly can't say I like him. He treated me like a child when I was starting out.
I'll tell you this. There's no higher praise for the defense than being called difficult by the prosecution.
Now, if we can get back on track, can we confirm the defendant himself has agreed to the appeal?
Yes.
But if Ahara really committed the murder, why would he agree to his alibi being scrutinized?
Ahara's objective isn't to get away with murder.
Then what is he after?
Making a mockery of the legal system.
Then it'd be best not to pay him any attention.
And you'd be right. If your priority is saving face in front of the court rather than preserving fairness in the law.
You've got a real attitude.
Sorry I'm a bit late.
So, with this appeal, the defense wants to assert the defendant's innocence by establishing his guilt in a murder.
Wait, before we go on, who is this?
He's from the Metropolitan Police. Considering Ehara was on the force, he has a vested interest here. He's not here to participate, don't worry.
The police can't afford to be embarrassed any further. We need to send the right message to the public.
Can we have your name, please?
The name is Bando.
And your title?
Think of me as a kind of police coordinator. But don't let me interrupt the proceedings. Forget I'm even here. Please, continue.
So much for this meeting being off the record.
Allow me to restate the prosecution's opinion to the judge. We cannot allow the murder footage to be used as new evidence in Akihiro Ehara's appeal. It's nothing but an online hoax of unknown origin. We can't just casually introduce that into court.
Indeed.
Furthermore, if Ehara bears such hostility towards the court, the footage might end up being a trap.
Trap?
Yes. What if the next viral video proves the original footage was doctored? What if the proceedings have already begun by then? Do we drop the appeal and call it a day? We cannot allow a man like Ehara to swing the court around by its nose at his whims. With that in mind, I believe Ehara's conviction should be upheld and enforced. Would the defense care to comment? Did you think any of this through before filing this appeal?
Yes. We aim to prove the defendant's innocence no matter what your objections may be.
And what about you?
Ehara has to atone for Mikoshiba's murder. I can't look the other way while a killer evades his sentence.
Come now. Is that why you're appealing? If so, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Yagami-san, I understand how you feel, but being innocent of sexual battery isn't guilt for Mikoshiba's murder.
What? What?
We're only appealing the groping case here, so...
Oh, right. Then,
What is this nonsense?
Ehara's... We don't think that...
There was
That was a...
There isn't... Was there perhaps any security footage we didn't see?
No, the station erases the footage from their cameras after a few days if...
Right. What were the other deciding factors? Security footage? The smartphone videos we kept seeing on TV? Those don't prove the crime either, because there was a huge time gap in them.
What?
We've done enough legwork to know. Did you walk around the site with your own 2 feet, prosecutor?
Well, no. But I had...
Then you must know they have a mountain of security cameras covering every angle. But if you went there to look carefully, you'd... That's Ehara running, while Mamiya chases after him. It seems as though the whole chase is recorded. But that's the momentary gap in time where Ehara and his double switched places.
The victim was running right behind Ehara.
Oh, but she knew about this.
Can you prove that?
We don't have to prove the defendant is innocent, Takano.
What?
All we have to prove is that the evidence provided by the prosecution at the trial was insufficient to determine guilt. Because that's the role of a defense counsel.
Indeed it is.
If the prosecution can't debunk any and all possibility that the train groping was a put-up job, then it's
Then the defense should have brought it up the first time. Although I doubt Shirosaki-sensei actually believed in the defendant's innocence or something.
The guilty verdict at the trial was orchestrated by the defendant. It was our error not to have seen it at the time. But it would be another not to correct ourselves now.
Stop being so dramatic. He's just a subway perv.
That is a statement I cannot abide. The law can't give the impression that a false charge is permissible, even for a subway perv.
Right. I take that back. I misspoke.
I do believe this case is worth a trial in the appeal court. If the court was misled by a hostile defendant, then only the court can correct it.
Thank you very much.
However, I too have seen Ihara-san's murder footage. I believe it would be difficult to introduce it as evidence. Therefore, I cannot allow it to be brought into the courtroom at this time.
Sorry, son. Think you got this covered?
Huh?
I'll poke my head in at the office later.
Very well, we'll be expecting you.
Bando-san, was it? From public security?
I don't recall saying my department. But yeah, that's right.
Do you know Reiko Kusamoto? The vice minister at the Ministry of Health?
Of course.
Any particular reason she's under constant surveillance?
A rather bold question, isn't it?
It's just you and me here.
I see you know how to cut to the chase, Yagami-sensei.
Ihara's trial can't be that important to you. So I have to figure I'm the reason you showed up. You want to know where Kuwana is, don't you? Were you finally forced to get off your ass because nobody else can get eyes on him?
Kuwana, otherwise known as
Wanted for murder? Huh. Because you know, I thought it was RK acting on your orders that killed Sawa-sensei. You think you can hide that fact forever? Even the cops in the field have their suspicions.
Do they? Well, the cubicle workers always resent the corner offices. Officers in the field complain about their superiors. I did the same thing back in my day.
Then why did you use thugs as your pawns instead of officers? Is that how Sawa-sensei got roped into this?
I'm afraid I'm not following.
You knew it was going to be a dirty job from the beginning. That's why you couldn't use anybody on the force. Or maybe you just weren't able to find an underling you could fully trust.
That's a good one.
Public security's only tricks are surveillance and call tracing. You leave the dirty work to the thugs.
That may be true, but it's enough to crush the likes of you.
I'm gonna ask just in case. Where is Soma now?
Hand over Kuwana to me and there will be no more victims.
What?
Do you have a reason to protect him? I already know he's going around executing bullies. He's a disturbance to public order.
But he wasn't the one who killed Sawa-sensei.
I didn't come here to argue. I came to issue an ultimatum.
いらっしゃいませ。ありがとうございました。
Yagami, that man,
Yeah,
I see.
Hoshinoku.
Yeah.
He's back?
He's number
Yeah.
2. Well, I'm not sure if you're aware, Yagami-san, but RK owns some of the cabaret clubs in Kamurocho. And if Akutsu apparently gives that girl a bonus.
How do you know this stuff, Hoshinoku?
Our clients...
So to sum it all up, a popular girl had...
Which is how I figured out Akutsu.
Oh, well.
That's the part...
But despite the...
Hey, I'm not even mad. In fact, I'm up for the challenge.
Awesome, Sari-san. If you can rock the cabaret gig again, you can hook Akutsu.
It'd be an undercover mission to infiltrate RK. Super risky. But damn if I don't want to see Saori-san train.
What the hell's gotten into you?
Are there any bars we know for sure that are...
There is. You remember RK
Queen Rouge.
Yep. He's only thing is, it used to be a...
Really?
Hey, totally.
This is no time to be idiots.
Okay, well...
No need, I'll be... Just the other day, Mari-san and...
With Mari?
With all due respect...
I still think I should pick your...
Seriously.
This isn't a...
Our makeup...
Okay, I'll leave...
Believe me.
True.
All right.
Let's do that.
Oh, wow. It's perfect.
Fine.
Oh, the...
Hi.
Hi. And I'm with... Something happened?
I pass by this place sometimes.
The owner remembered you from last time.
The undercover cabaret girl of his dreams returned.
Oh, take this before you go. It's a wireless earpiece. I'll be there in a...
Got it.
You bet.
Ah! Oh! Saori-san! It's you! Yeah. Looking at you takes me back to better days. You are a cut above.
Nice to see you again. Have you been well?
I'm fine. Last time you were here, now we're just a
Yeah.
keep. So we sold ever since we don't even make
But
a
I hear the
profit.
girls with prom.
If they notice, or maybe...
Where do girls
No
usually...
particular. But you...
Can you hear me, Saori-san?
Yes.
So you got in, okay?
Support?
Yeah, so...
So... You're... I'm sorry. Oh.
What, so you just trying...
Oh. So... What?
Excuse me. You look... Magu!
Old... I'm going...
Wow.
Hello! I'm sorry. Nice...
Oh. Wow! You're...
What? You know, I could make any prosecutor shake in his boots just by yelling, "Objection!"
That's odd.
Jeez.
Uh-huh. Oh, what's a bar exam?
Oh, you've got to be kidding. You ladies have really never heard of the bar exam? It's the toughest certification test in Japan.
I've heard of it. Oh, so it's a certificate? Well, I passed kanji level 3 when I was in middle school.
That's not even comparable.
Kanji aptitude is a very fine certification.
Huh?
You passed your stupid bar exam how many years ago now? And you're still bragging about your scores? Seriously?
What?
Sorry, Chan. You can't talk that way to a customer.
No, but there's so much.
I can't. What?
No.
Thank you. So the best.
What?
Really?
Wait,
Get the sense of.
there
Oh my
you
God.
Really?
Listen up, girls. This is a heck of a lot of fun. I'm having a great time. I tell you, I love cabaret clubs. So much.
Me too, Genda-sensei. I wish I...
So true. You guys are lawyers,
Well,
so I'm
we're not a big...
Nice. Uh-oh. Was wrong, sorry-san. Huh?
Of course
The
not.
first time...
Oh, I mean, something. Look what you've done, Genda. But
come on!
Oh, yes?
Oh, wait a minute. What about...
I guess. Oh, we concede defeat. I'm so sorry.
Please.
Yeah, right. You're a natural. I learned.
Thanks for the... We haven't had this good a take in a while.
No, I
Come
couldn't
on,
have...
boss. Seeing as you're here, does that mean Saori-san's getting a bonus?
That she is. Who would have thought this could happen on her first day? All I can say is, wow. Akutsu-san wants to meet you, and there's already a taxi waiting outside.
Really? That is so awesome. No kidding. So the bonus thing is real, huh? I hope I get one someday.
So, where exactly is Akutsu-san waiting for me?
Apparently, it's a surprise. He doesn't just let that information happen, but I'm sure
I see.
Don't worry, Saori-san. I'm standing by. If you need me, I'll be there in a flash.
Driver, could you tell me where we're headed?
Oh, we're almost there, miss.
We're not leaving Kamurocho, are we?
No. No need to worry.
I think he's driving to the Thug Hangout, the underground club. That's where I met Soma for the first time. I thought it had been shut down, but maybe they opened it back up.
We'll be arriving soon.
Saori-san, I presume? We've been expecting you.
Thank you for inviting.
RK takes care of. You're one of us now. If you would follow me.
Certainly.
Here she is, Akutsu.
Ah.
I've heard so much about...
Have a seat. This sucks.
Oh, there's no need for that.
Well, on to the 1 million.
It's a big pile of money. I'm not sure I follow.
This lady lawyer can...
Except she was trying to find out...
You see, when anybody's suspicious, most of the eyes work. And now, so what do you want?
Well, this took a...
You're only...
Oh, I didn't...
What the...
Man, you were harder to find than I thought, Akutsu.
Wow. So it was you pulling Saori-chan's strings.
Hell of a sight. Some piece of shit ex-Tojo man thinks he's king of the hill now?
Don't make me laugh. You're the worthless pile of shit, Hikashi. Props for having the spine to show up here without backup.
Hold that thought. 'Cause this isn't the whole party.
Huh?
The only guy I really want to fuck up is Soma. But I guess I'll have to settle for you losers tonight.
Kaito. Couldn't just stay dead, huh?
Nice work, Saori-san. We'll take it from here, but would you ring the gong for us?
What?
Nothing kicks off a fight better than a beauty ring and a gong.
Yeah. Give us something to get the mood going.
Okay. Well then. Gentlemen, do your worst!
Get ready.
Let's go! Hell yeah!
Here we go!
Can't run anymore, Akutsu. Where's Soma?
I don't know.
Really?
Soma can tell when someone's... I won't be able to get away with bullshitting him. Friend or foe, if he finds a traitor, he stomps the rat. That's why I've always told him the truth. In this business...
You serious right now?
You just don't fucking get it, man. He can practically see the future. Usually, you need a shit ton of money to leave a clan.
Huh. Remember who you're talking to, asshole.
But Soma, no money, and not even...
There's no way he could get away with that.
That's what I thought. I warned him. He said the clan, then he had the bump.
What did he mean by
At
that?
that point, Soma understood. True. Well, the Tojo...
And that's how you became...
What do you expect? I've been cool with...
Akutsu, Soma's being used by
Public security.
Why was Soma looking for Shinya Kawai in Kama?
I don't know. All I heard was somebody...
Why is he after Kawai? How are Soma and public security linked?
I don't know, man.
Wait.
What is it?
Doc, is it possible that Soma himself...
Soma working in public...
Well, right wing, they usually try to... So yeah, that's one way to do it. But sometimes a cop who's already in public security goes undercover to infiltrate something like a Yakuza organization. What you get is a Yakuza who knows everything about the police and would be super good at sniffing.
You're saying...
You heard what this fool said. Soma figured out the Tojo... You think some He couldn't. He'd have to know the Tojo clan.
Including knowing that the Tojo clan would dissolve...
Yep. And then after he gets out, he makes a place for all the Yakuza coming out of the... where public security can eat. That's why RK is still coming to ex-Tojo...
In other words, RK would...
Sure as hell sounds like their MO. This way. Public security...
But it's mind-blowing that they'd install their own leader.
Sure as hell sounds like collusion to me.
Soma? In Undercover?
Why?
He's gotta be fucking listening in on us right now. If he's public security and heard all that...
Get your shit together, Akutsu. What does it matter?
Don't you get it? There's no...
Stop shooting! Damn it. They found us.